Paving Paradise, a podcast dedicated to the asphalt paving industry. I'm Justin Rodriguez, your host, and I'm joined by my co-host, Scott Ramsey.
Hi, guys.
Today's episode, we're going to be talking about the cost of asphalt, why does it cost so much, and also we're going to talk about good customers and bad customers. So, thanks for joining us. And
I think we could expand on that a little bit. Not only good customers, bad customers, good contractors, bad contractors.
Oh, that's right.
You know, it's the yin and the yang of the world.
That's
so,
true.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Yeah.
Yes. So, those are our topics today. And how's your week?
It's great. Yeah, busy, sun shining. It's hot. As you just said before we started filming, the machine is rolling. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Keep the engine going.
Yeah,
especially
exactly
in the time of COVID.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
Anyway, then let's jump into our topic. So, we get a call all the time now with people saying, "Hey, the barrel of oil is down. So why is asphalt costs so high still?"
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot that goes into asphalt. I mean, it's not just oil. There's trucking. There's transportation. But you want to expand on it?
Why don't you talk a little bit, Justin, about what goes into the making of the asphalt? We buy it at the plant.
Absolutely.
Why don't you talk about that, and then the boring stuff is the market prices and buying on index and all that's the boring stuff. But yeah, why don't you talk about the what goes into making it?
Right. So the asphalt is made of sand, gravel, and liquid. It's liquid asphalt. It's a binder they use. It's a tar, and it's mixed together in a drum, and that is what the asphalt is comprised of. So it's not just the oil. The asphalt has different gradations of gravel that has to be crushed in the quarry, and not all quarries are on site where the asphalt plant is. So sometimes they have to bring the gravel and the sand in from outside sources, stockpile them, and then they have the raw materials to make the asphalt. Not only that, the oil itself has to be trucked in and stored in silos and maintained heat. So there's a lot that goes into just that. Then when we go to a customer's job site, we have to send a truck, usually 40, 50 miles from where we're at, typically, and that's
minimum.
I think that's
one way.
True.
That's one way.
Even if you're like in Los Angeles, in the heart of Los Angeles, I mean, not all paving contractors are like right by an asphalt plant. I mean, you got to go, you got to factor in traffic, time of day, all that stuff.
Absolutely.
So those things are what make the asphalt. So then we got to pick it up, and then we got to bring it back to the job site, and then sometimes even the asphalt plants screw up. I've gotten bad loads of asphalt where they didn't mix enough tar, and it was just kind of this weird, just sand and gravel lightly mixed with some emulsion. But
we call it like kitty litter. Kitty litter. Yeah, no, what in the hell is this kitty litter that just showed up? Yeah.
So and then you have to reject it. Sometimes we have to send it all the way back, pick up another fresh load, and bring it to the job site so we can finally pave. But it's quite a process. There's a lot that goes into it, and then not only that, there are different gradations of the oil that hold the asphalt together. There's PG 64 -10. Which is performance grade 64 degrees Celsius to minus 10 degrees Celsius,
correct,
if I'm not mistaken. And that's what we use here in Southern California. And then if we're going to make an asphalt curb, there's PG 70 -10, which is a little bit stiffer oil because it'll hold up in higher heat temperatures a little bit better.
The melting point is higher, the freezing cracking point is lower.
Yeah. Well, it's about the same, -10 though, right? 70 -10?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, so I mean, but that -10 degrees Celsius is really cold. It's never going to get like cold in California.
Yeah, for sure.
So those are the things that just go into just getting the asphalt to your job site. So there's other behind the scenes stuff, like you were saying, the index prices, like Caltrans, I know has an index on how much they're going to buy and all that stuff.
Correct.
So
correct.
You wanted to expand on that
a
little bit?
And the feedback, because Justin, as is myself, we don't make our own asphalt, and so we're relying upon our suppliers to give us the feedback, which, some of it's probably BS, them just perpetuating as to why their prices are the way they are. Right. There is some truth to it. A lot of the asphalt plants early on started out as their burners were diesel, and for them to be California compliant, and also to save them, they've converted to natural gas, which has helped a little bit. But still, with that being said, I mean, part of the equation that Justin was just speaking about is the heating costs. I mean, can you imagine, we go over to our granite plant here locally, and can you imagine the amount of natural gas they're using to burn that thing?
Yeah.
I mean, it has got. I mean,
The drum.
You
How big is
can't
the drum?
even.
The drum is like it's got a big blowtorch inside the drum.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to dry out.
They
all the aggregates.
dry out
Sand.
100%
No
of all the
moisture.
water. Yeah. No, it's great. It's quite. We're hoping on one of our episodes to actually visit a plant and run you through the makings of it. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool.
It's always fun to stand underneath the drum and they turn it on.
It can be
Big
kind of
alarm goes
sketchy.
off. Yeah.
Well, boom, and then the
Yeah.
burner. Oh yeah. So getting into one of the big costs, one of the big factors in the cost of our asphalt is, or our HMA, hot mix asphalt, is the liquid asphalt, as Justin said, the binder that goes into the asphalt. And starting in March, or maybe it was a little maybe mid-March, right off the bat we started getting calls. The oil, and a few customers called me, and I've known for a long time, and they jokingly said, "Hey Scott, it looks like you're going to be paying me to do my driveway." And I, laughed, and they laughed, and they said, "Hey, with oil prices being the way they are, at one point, I think it was like negative."
Yeah,
whatever that means.
Yeah, it was negative like 30
Negative,
cents
yeah,
or negative
yeah,
$1.75 or something like that.
It was
a
negative.
barrel.
It was negative money, and so daily we were getting calls. Not so much anymore because now we're in the mid-May.
Yeah.
We're not getting the calls so much anymore, but people were, "Hey, we want to pave all of our streets now because oil is free and asphalt's free." Well, it wasn't quite like that.
Yeah.
And the issue we ran into this year, and it's the same every year, is during the winter time, supply is up, demand is down. It's just a very basic supply and demand. And so what happens is the asphalt suppliers, they buy as much as they can, and they're trying to use a crystal ball and guess when is the slowest time of the year, or the most economical time of the year to buy
Right.
to buy their liquid asphalt. So this year it happened to be February. A barrel of oil is $20-25, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Right.
So they bought it at the lowest point. A ton of asphalt was probably $300 a ton, and $250 a ton, somewhere in that neighborhood. They bought it, stockpiled, filled everything to the brim, knowing that demand's going to go back up by March, and it kind of worked against everybody.
Right.
Because oil prices plummeted. Well, these suppliers, they were filled to the brim. They could not buy any, because they probably would have been.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
They would have been buying.
And then less people were working because everyone was at home. So
Correct.
there was no need to.
With
so
COVID.
so they were stuck with a large supply.
Correct.
basically.
Everybody was filled to the brim, thinking they cut a fat hog, which, most of the time they do.
Right.
They stock up, they invest in the oil at the lowest time of the year, fill their tanks as much as they can, and then they just sit on it until March. Caltrans indexes go up, everything starts going up, and away we go. And it's a nice way to kick off the season.
Yeah.
Because you're basing, you bought your oil supply at February prices, but now Caltrans index, you can charge March prices or April prices. And this year it kind of worked against contractors. So with that being said, I noticed, and I don't, you can answer for yourself, Justin, I noticed zero across the board, really virtually zero reduction on any prices.
Nothing. Yeah, the seal coat prices, like they adjusted them by like pennies. It
Yeah,
wasn't like
2 cents.
Yeah,
I think it was like 2 cents.
Two
Yeah,
cents. It was literally like 2 cents is right. And it was funny because I was talking to Carl at Ace Seal Coat about that, and just getting back to like where the asphalt comes from. The other thing he was telling me was that when the price of the barrel of oil went down, it costs more money to get the hard crude out, which is what our liquid tar is that we use for the asphalt. And they don't refine it, or they don't pull it out of the ground, or they don't refine it as much. It's easier to get, the diesel and the jet fuel and the gasoline grade stuff that sits higher. And they have to go deeper, he was saying. So the actual guys that pull the stuff out of the ground, they don't get as much. So there's less supply of it for asphalt producers like us, or asphalt
100%,
contractors.
yeah.
So that's another thing that was going
Well,
on.
and everybody has to keep in mind, everyone has to remember that the guys that are pulling the oil out of the earth, that's a business just like your business and my business, and they have overhead. It costs them so much to pull material out of the ground. And from what and that's a part of the world that I don't really partake in. I don't really know a whole lot about. But from what I do know, these guys break even cost is like $35-40 a barrel for
wow.
them to pull it out of the ground. So when things are $20-25 a barrel, it's more beneficial for them to
Not
leave it.
Yeah, just leave it in the
It's
ground.
costing them money to pull it out of the ground, which is driving stuff up.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so, and I just got one of our suppliers, actually an emulsion supplier. Second half of May, prices are on the rise,
Right.
which I'm kind of happy to see.
Okay.
You know, things have been kind of down in the dumps, like we mentioned with COVID, oil prices being low,
Hopefully
people staying at home.
Yeah, I'm hoping the economy turns around.
I sent one of my suppliers or the lady that sent me the pricing for the second half of May. I replied back and I said, this is the first time in my career that I'm happy to see an increase. Happy, I really am. It was only $20 a ton.
Yeah.
But I was really super happy to see that increase.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was
Normalizing.
Yeah.
Things are normalizing.
That's right.
Yeah.
You expect it. You know, May, June, July, August, you expect things to creep up, and then, you know, they start tapering off as we go back into winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, it gets, I guess not annoying, but it's kind of tiresome, and it gets tedious when you have to say that whole spiel over and over again, because you have one customer after the other calling saying, hey, what about, aren't oil prices really cheap? Why is asphalt so expensive? Why is it so expensive? Because the thing is, they're not just buying the asphalt, they're not just buying the tar, they're buying not only the sand and aggregate, they're paying for your trucking, they're paying for your guys,
Absolutely.
the expert crews to put it down.
Yeah.
So so much goes into it. It's not just that one factor is going to make things cheaper.
Right.
And I'm going to keep paying my guys pretty much the same, if not every once in a while I give them raises. So if not, as the future goes on, I'm going to pay them more.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
The cost of those things is just going to go up, I think, inevitably. So
Well, and I will say this, and as Shane knows, as you know, I'm a pretty positive guy, and you made the comment about that the conversations get to be tiresome, and this goes out to all my fellow contractors out there. You know, I really embraced it, and I looked at it as a positive, because I guarantee this springtime we got, that I know of, and I don't know because I've got a few other estimators out there. I know just the customers that I serve, I got at least 3 jobs from people calling in saying, hey, is oil prices low because I'm going to jump on it. And would they have called if the market hadn't have tanked? Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. Would they have kicked the can down the road to 2021? Who knows? I don't know. But, taking a negative thing and, putting a positive spin on it, and they call me up and they say, hey, Scott, it's, is now the time? Of course it is.
Yeah.
Anytime's the time. Yeah, right now's the time. Yeah,
well,
right now's the time.
The thing is, this is kind of a tangent, but the fact that people weren't at their facilities because they're sending everyone home, everyone's working from home, they're like, let's pave the parking lot now. They have their budgets in place.
Yeah.
And it's just...
You got a pretty nice one. You got a pretty nice one
so
out
a couple
of it.
Them,
Yeah.
2, because like that one place, that RV park is closed.
Right.
So it's like, and that place is like 100% occupancy. They say like
90%
11
of the
months
year.
out of the year. Something like that. It's insane. It's like
Right.
insanely busy. So the fact that there's no one on it, they're like, let's just get the maintenance done on it now.
Right.
And then when people come back, it's like, it's a nice welcome mat.
Right.
Same for the office employees at the buildings we did in Goleta. Like it'll be ready to go, and they didn't have to displace any of their employees. So that's kind of it's kind of the silver lining, I guess, to the whole COVID.
It is true. Yeah.
But that's kind of a side tangent, because it's not really in regards to asphalt prices. These are just places that were ready to do something.
Well, and I think it goes.
I
think it's 100%. It goes 100. What your comments 100% in line with what I just said. Taking a negative, spinning it with a positive, and let's perpetuate the future. Let's keep things rolling.
Yeah, because it's crazy when you do these big jobs like that. Those companies that have the resources to do it, they're employing all the outside truckers, and then I go out and get food for the guys while they're working. So that like in turn services the restaurant, the mechanics that I need if a piece of equipment breaks down.
Right.
Like all of that stuff is being serviced and kind of keeping that machine going for the economy just by doing these like 1 or 2 jobs. It's crazy. It's just that's what makes the economy go around.
Well, these are the things that keep, and not very many things keep me up at night, but these are the things that keep me up at night is when I start thinking about how many employees I have, how what I do touches their lives. Well, how many lives do my employees touch? Well, there's 3.2 people per household. So now we take my employees times that number by 3.
Right.
Now they've got brothers, uncles, cousins. I mean, the numbers are staggering.
I know, it's all interconnected.
And then you add on top of that, like Justin just said, we go to Taco Bell, buy the guys all burritos.
Yeah.
Well, now we just help employ 10 more people in that Taco Bell.
Yeah.
And then they've got 3.2 people in their family. Oh no,
That's
the numbers are staggering. Oh yeah,
Just run to
shout out to Taco Bell. Yeah,
It's so
You know?
easy. It's like
I know,
there.
that's right.
Give me
That's
a 12
right.
pack of tacos and burritos.
It's easy. Yeah.
Just-
But no, you're absolutely right. It's the lives that and we're just these little asphalt companies, little contractor asphalt companies, and the lives that we touch and. Yeah, it's pretty mind blowing. Yeah, when you think of it like that.
I know.
Yeah.
Even for a little small company like mine, it's just like it puts an impact. And like the truck drivers when they come out, they were so happy when they're milling down those parking lots.
We're just happy to be working.
Like, hey, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, we're working. Yeah, it's been so slow. And
Right.
Yeah, and the good thing too is it's been easy on the road too. We're driving. There's no cars on the road, so it's so easy.
And then the flip side. Come September and October, those same truck drivers are gonna be so pissed off. They're out on the job. They haven't slept for 3 weeks. Yeah, the same guys are gonna. Why did you have to do this job this week? And, dude, that's what we do. That's what we do. Yeah,
we got a job. Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. You want to jump into like talking about the good customer, bad customer, and
I
good
think
contractor, bad contractor.
Yeah, I think this is a good topic to segue. Sorry, Shane. To segue right.
Stop messing up the set, Scott.
I know. Segue right in. We're talking about customers and the calls, and I'll talk a little bit more about my experiences with customers and contractors. But what are your experiences with? Let's start out with let's go poo on the contractors first. The gypsies.
Oh,
I mean, I'll get you going. That'll get you going, Justin. Yeah, we're not gonna hear the end of it.
The gypsies bring out both the bad customers and the bad contractors because they're not really contractors. They're not. Most of them aren't even licensed. Some of them surprisingly seem to have a license.
Right.
Like those guys that were going around here that thing.
Well, it seemed like they set up shop. Yeah,
they had a website and everything, which is kind of surprising. And then now they're gone. I haven't seen them. I haven't seen them.
No.
I saw this little truck driving around and he had his logo on the side of his truck and they're long gone. Anyway, the reason I say it brings out the bad customers too is the funny thing is the what we call in the asphalt industry a gypsy is they're basically nomadic people and they have their asphalt truck and they have a seal coat trailer and they drive around, they knock on doors and they say, hey, we have some leftover material. We got a good deal on it and we can put it on your driveway if you want it'll be this much money. And usually they charge more than what I would charge.
Correct.
And this is the whole point is that it brings out the bad customer because I'll go see something, a customer calls me and said, hey, this is falling apart or they want to repave their driveway again. I said, wait, someone did something and I gave you a bid for this, a year ago or whatever. And like, oh, these guys came and they did it for this much money. I was like, I would have done it for cheaper.
Correct.
And then it's all falling apart, so they have to hire someone to fix it. So those,
it's definitely psychological.
Yeah,
it's
so the cheap customers that don't want to deal with.
Well, people know the average person that doesn't know much about asphalt. They do know that paving and roofing are the two biggest investments you will ever have on your home or a building. Like the building we're in here.
The biggest surface area.
Those are the biggest expenses that you'll have. Painting, it's manageable. Drywall, termites, I mean, over the long term, those are pretty expensive items. But the one-time shock factor, parking lot, and roadways, and roofways. So people know, even the layman knows that parking lots, so they get encountered, psychologically, they get encountered by what we're calling the gypsies, the roaming guys. And they roll up and exactly like what Justin said, they've got a little bit of asphalt left over and it's always the same spiel. Always. We got a little bit of asphalt left over.
Yeah.
And they get suckered in every time. And the frustrating part for me is once it's all said and done, they gave the contractor or the gypsy their money.
Yeah.
They realize, OMG, I just got a bad job. Now I have to find somebody to maintain it.
Yeah, a lot of times.
And I'll 99 times out of 100, I don't even want to touch it.
A lot of times
I don't want to be
they're
associated with it, unfortunately.
most of them are seal coat guys, but some of them are they'll do paving, and I've heard horror stories where they'll do like half of a driveway and then just leave because they'll ask for the money up front.
That's all the asphalt they had.
Yeah, exactly. That's all the asphalt they had. Yeah, but it's funny because they do get jobs, and they show up and they get the work, and maybe it's the customers that didn't want to get because it's like they're being cheap.
Yep.
But yeah, man, those guys are lucky. I mean, we should get some of their tears or something. The gypsy tears.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
The
leprechaun tears. Yeah.
And another good thing to remember is that for the customers that are out there, it's good to hire a licensed contractor. You don't want to hire those unlicensed guys because you don't know who they are. I mean, the contractor has gone out there to take the test to prove that he knows what he's talking about through the state. He's got all his insurances in place. He's bonded.
You hope he has his insurances in place.
Yeah, typically, but they should, and then they're bonded. And the other thing to note is if you're getting multiple bids from people or multiple cost estimates, choose the contractor that you feel comfortable with, because a lot of times if the price is out of whack or someone doing, a lot of times contractors will offer several different options for a driveway. So ask each one why they did that or what the benefit is versus the higher cost versus the middle cost versus the low cost if you have three options. But also feel comfortable, the guys that you invite onto your property, if you have a good feeling about someone, if they let's say you and I go meet the same customer, which happens all the time, multiple times a week.
Do they like me more?
Do they like me more?
Do they like me more? Yeah, maybe.
No, I don't know. They like me more sometimes. So
they like the beard. That's why I'm growing it out. I'm trying to copy Justin.
So, but the thing is, it's important because you're forging a relationship with someone when you do that. So,
as we said in the first episode, I mean, our customers become our friends.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, and it's about like, are they going to hire, if you have this person and they do a good job, then they'll feel good about hiring them back, for another job or for future work or for another property. But if they totally mess it up or, if you guys didn't get along, there's no hard feelings. They could do the job, they're out, and then they could try the next guys next time or find somebody else. So, I mean, that happens too. I mean, we don't get along with everyone 100% of the time.
Personalities sometimes don't mesh.
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
Well, and to elaborate a little bit on your comment about hire a licensed contractor, a lot of people don't realize, and once again, I always say this: plumber, electrician, asphalt contractor. When you're when you're a contractor, not just asphalt contractor, but when you're a contractor, people don't realize this, that you're held to a higher standard.
Yes.
So when earlier in this recording I mentioned that I've been involved in license board disputes, between contractor and homeowner or contractor and business owner. And the thing that a lot of contractors forget about is the work they're bidding, is the work that they're proposing to be done meet with trade standards.
Right.
So you could go out and let's say you do a 1/2 inch overlay. Well, anything less than 1.5 inches is beyond trade standards.
Always a minimum inch.
Minimum 1.5 inches. So if somebody says, no, I only want to pay for a 1/2 inch. That's all I want to pay for. I don't care how it holds up. And this is to all the contractors out there, if you go out and you do something that is not in accordance with trade standards,
right,
that customer does not have to pay you. And then if you legally go after that customer to get paid, they can say, hey, well, it doesn't meet trade standards, and the CSLB will come out, review it, and if they deem that true, you're up the river.
Yeah, and it's really important then, if you're a contractor, to make sure you note that on your estimate page, or this customer requests only this, or something just to kind of cover your bases, because
and we have
because sometimes there are extenuating circumstances where you do something weird just to hold by for a while, but it's just a temporary thing, or with skin patches, I call them surface patches because I think that's a better name for them.
Sure.
Skin patches sounds creepy.
Which explain what that is.
It's just a very thin maintenance patch that goes over either a pothole or a rough area, something that's falling apart, but it's still got barely any structural integrity to it. You could put a thin layer of asphalt on top of it, and it's usually what, like a 3/4 of an inch or an inch thick, maybe, or
Tops.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then the guys rake it out. They get all the heavy rock out, and mostly fines and sand sits on it. They plate it in with the plate tamper or a roller, and it sits there, and it's just a Band-Aid. It's literally a Band-Aid. It's
Literally.
a very
No,
thin
it's-
patch that goes over something that you're either going to seal coat over in a couple weeks, or it's just to prevent a trip hazard or something from someone falling. So
Well,
but
and-
that everyone knows it's only going to last 2 to 3 years,
Correct.
especially if there's heavy traffic over it.
Correct. Well, and like you said, there are those extenuating circumstances where, you have, and I run into this a lot where, your heart goes out to them. You meet with grandma. Grandma doesn't have a whole lot of money, and
Yeah.
but I think, and I'm okay. Same thing. We do skim patches all day long. We do seal coats over jobs that I don't really care for. But
Exactly.
but
Especially seal coats.
Yeah, but I think if you go into the project and both parties are on the same page, and you can, just, kind of document it and say, hey, it's we can't really offer a warranty with this. We advise, or what I like to do is I like to give a couple different options. Here's a seal coat price, no warranty. Here's the overlay price. You're going to get, 12 to 24 months out of this job. 7 to 10 years out of this job, and 15 to 20 years out of this job. Give them the options. I know it takes a little extra time. And we want to see our families, but that little bit of an insurance policy, it pays dividends because then everybody's on the same page.
That reminds me of a point like that. I've done that before and going to bad customer because I don't know why, but those are the ones that always stick out in your head because they're the ones that cause the most angst. Like I wish they were all good customers, but the good customers, they don't stick out in your head because it's a smooth transaction and you're happy. Yeah, you remember when they call you because you want to go do work for them again, but those thorn in your side though, when someone. So speaking of like the multiple options, I remember I gave this one guy multiple options. He owned this little sandwich shop, and and it was a beat up parking lot, and we wound up just doing that patch and seal, just thin patches and just Band-Aid patch here and there, and we cleaned it and sealed it, and it looked nice and pretty. And I was like, I told him, I was like, this is gonna last 3 years.
I think we talked
in
about
1
this.
year.
Was this in Lompoc? Yeah, we talked about. I remember
to
this.
say where it was.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, that guy, he didn't even finish paying like for the work because he goes, oh well, this isn't right and this doesn't look good, and he goes out there and he said, no, this is what we talked about, and he goes, well, you should have given me those other options. And then it had been so long since I dealt with it.
But you hadn't, though. You didn't give him the options?
No, I did because I went back to look at it because my brother went to look at it, and because I was like, you go deal with this guy. I'm done dealing with this guy. And he did. And then my brother pulled it up. We have our access to our county software on our phone, and he's like, no, he did give you those options. And he went there because he didn't do this. This is my brother's experience. And he's like, no, here's the rip out. Here's the overlay, and here's the patch and seal. You chose patch and seal.
You went with the Econo style.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you went with the Econo.
Low budget, and that's what it's gonna. That's low budget. It's gonna get.
Like
you.
I said, it's all about expectations.
Yeah.
You're gonna have the customer that, no matter what, there's no pleasing them.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done $100,000 complete renos, and you still have,
and there's
what about
there's
that rock
no
pocket? What about that rock
and
pocket?
that's that problem. And then the thing is, they feel like the thing that irks me the most is they feel like they don't need to pay you because they in their mind they didn't get what they wanted. And it's like, no, that's what you wanted, that's what you got, and you need to get the money like right then and there, because if you string them out at all, they'll just take it and run. It's just, those are the worst.
Do you ever get paid?
I don't know if we got paid on there.
Oh, you don't know?
Yeah, we got part of the money.
Yeah.
But it's just like it's
well, it's one
horrible.
thing.
So it's like that red flag. So you're interviewing that guy, and sometimes you tell maybe you told that guy no one too many times, and I told him no, but finally I broke down. It's like, oh, fine. Yeah. And I know that I put the number a little bit higher just because I know the guy's going to be a heartache, but still, then you don't even get all your money out of it. That's just
no, it doesn't make sense. Yeah,
it's not worth it. So
and
don't
the thing
be a bad
is,
customer.
Well, and the thing is, and especially here in the very small, good old boy geographical area that we live in,
right?
And I know you do it, and I know I do it. There are certain things that we do at the end of a job just for our reputation. Okay, you don't want to pay, or you want a discount on the job. Okay, I'll take it. But don't call me again.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I don't say don't call me again, but and we do this. Money has a way of tending to smooth things over. Say, okay, how about we just pay 50% of the job, and now Ramsey Asphalt's the greatest company in the world, and it's not fair.
No,
it's
not fair
really
at all.
not fair. But and it's fun. It's you mentioned something. You always remember the bad customers, and I tell my guys all the time, we will remember our failures, but we'll never remember our successes.
That's a good point.
But we always remember our failures, and our failures are those jobs that we to this day are still talking
it's
about.
Human nature, yeah.
It's
always the heartache. I guess that's why I like reality TV shows. It's always about the drama. Like the truck broke down. It's like dun dun dun. It's that hook to get you go through the commercial break to keep watching.
That's exactly right.
It's all the drama.
Well, we did a job in San Luis Obispo at the CMC, and what my estimator John and I, even to this day, will go out to lunch, and either he or I will be like, "How did we survive that job? I mean, how did we get through it?" And looking back on it, it kind of gets a pit in my stomach just thinking about oh my God, it was, it's just one of those things. And I consider that, saying it as calling it a failure wasn't really a failure, but it's just a good way to put it.
And we dealing with those customers that give you no options out, that's like the thing. It's like,
you look at it as a
pit in their stomach. It's like, what if I now he's mad at this, or trying to fix the problems, because you're just always losing money every time you're trying to fix a problem. That's the problem.
That's true.
It's really annoying. It's because you're in this business to make a profit, and that's how you survive. That's how you keep going. That's how you feed your family.
Sure.
And those people, there's so many people out there, I feel, that just don't care about that. They don't care about you. They don't care. They just want the cheapest, the fastest, the best, and they don't have to pay for it.
Right.
And
this is nice going into episode 3, because we're gonna jump right into that on episode 3, talking about different business models. Because you're right, Justin. There are those contractors that there are those contractors that only want to build bridges. They only want to deal with the DOTs.
Right.
They only want to deal with Caltrans. They only want to deal with Nevada Transportation.
Right.
Then you have contractors like you and I, who were industrial, commercial. You're not really residential. We're kind of a little above residential. But then you do have, the guys that have drums in their trucks.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
They're providing a service, and I think sometimes contractors, for you, the size of company that you have at this point, for you to go be trying to do a 800 square foot seal coat driveway for grandma in Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
Is
it is
it appropriate?
Yeah.
But
I don't know. You do them just to bang them out. But it's just it's not where the money's at either. It's because that's more, that's geared for a smaller business. And there are all those guys out there. They're just one pop shops. And
they're making a killing.
Yeah,
they are making a killing. Sometimes I wish I could go back to those days. Killing.
Yeah.
And most of their business is cash.
Yeah.
Oh. So no employees.
Yeah.
Sleep good at night. Oh yeah.
Yeah, no employees. It's just them. The problem is, it's just you. That's it. So it's what can you do with your own two hands? So you can only do so much in a day.
Yeah, but remember,
that's when you grow.
But remember, and I tell all of my friends and all my fellow contractors that I'm in with, I say the same thing. A business, no matter what business you're in, I don't care if you're Google or if you're Central Coast Paving, a business is only as good as the cash it generates.
Yeah, that's true.
And these guys with these 55-gallon drums or they're pulling a 350-gallon tank on the back, they're generating so much cash.
Yes.
And
that goes
our
back
business is only as good as the cash it generates.
I think that's what goes back to the gypsy. That's how they survive. They just do it. They get paid cash. They're in, they're out, and then they just go around. They'll just kind of prey on one neighborhood, and then they move up the road, or they'll go somewhere else, and then they.
I gotta say, I see these guys rolling around. These guys are rolling with some pretty nice equipment. They're rolling around with nicer equipment than I'm rolling around with.
I know. They're just having a brand new F-150 with some fake logo on the side of the truck.
Yeah. Well, you can tell Justin's a little more disgruntled than I am about it, so But I've been doing it a lot longer, so yeah.
I don't know. Those guys are just bad news.
No, but hey, you should be the job you're on now. The gypsies were the last ones out there, and they weren't happy, and then you got it now. Yeah. So that says something. True. Hey, every dog has its day, right?
That's right.
But then now you're going in, you're completely milling, putting back in 3. You're doing it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they just slapped a thin layer on top, and they made all kinds of drainage issues.
Oh, and at least these guys are wise enough, they're smart enough to realize, hey, we screwed up. Let's get a professional in here to do it right.
Yeah.
And you got it. Yeah, yeah. All right. Until next time, my friends.
All right. See you down the road.